Hi guys, my name is Deb Marnie and I'm from Aussie Maille, and this is our chainmail tutorial channel. Hey guys, a big hi, hello, welcome, how are you? Thanks for popping in and seeing me today. It is great to get to spend some time with you. So today I've got another redo video for you. So for those that don't know, these are redos of live streams that we did a few years ago. They were great fun to do, but they're not the best learning experience. So we're slowly working our way through and redoing some of them. So today we will be redoing the Celtic Wings weave. All right, guys, let's jump straight into it. Okay, guys, so I've got some sample pieces of the Celtic Wings weave made up here for you, and I will run through these sizes in a minute. They'll also be coming up here on the side of the video, and you will also find them listed down in the description tab below this video, along with links for more further information, the creator of the weave, links to our site, etc. Okay, but to run through these with you now. So this version over here is our 14 gauge AWG. Now that is 1.6 millimeter diameter wire. The large bright aluminium rings, the silver rings, those are 8.5 millimeter ID, and the anodized rings running down the center, those ones are 1/4 inch or 6.35 millimeters. The next size is our 16 gauge AWG. That's 1.2 millimeter diameter wire. The ring ID for the silver rings is 6.5 millimeters, and the colored inner rings, those are 5/32 of an inch or 3.97 millimeters. Our next size here, this gold one, this is our 18 gauge AWG sizes. That's 1 millimeter diameter wire. The silver rings are 5.5 millimeter ID, and the colored rings are 9/64 of an inch or 3.57 millimeters. And then finally, the smallest version is our 20 gauge AWG version. So that's 0.8 millimeter diameter wire. Ring ID for the silver rings is 4.25 millimeters, and the inner rings are 1/8 of an inch or 3.18 millimeters. Okay guys, so we want to start this weave by creating some small units of basically 2 bright aluminium rings and 2 anodized rings. So using our 14 gauge AWG, so 8.5 millimeter ID for the bright silver rings, and 1/4 inch, 6.35 millimeter for the smaller rings. I'm going to pop on 2 of my smaller rings onto an opened large ring. I'm going to double that large ring up. And then I'm just going to close my smaller rings because I popped these on straight out of the bag, but you can of course pre-close these before you put them on, and it'll save you that step. But that's it. That's basically all it takes to make up one of these units. We'll be using them so that they look like this. You need at minimum 2 to start this weave, but I would recommend doing like 4 or 6 of these to give yourself a good start. Of course, you can make them all up at the beginning if that's the way you would like it, but if you've got at least around about a 4 or 6, that's a good starting position. So if you guys go ahead and make up some more of these little units, again, I'll just do it quickly for you. So we're opening up 1 large ring, we're popping on 2 small rings, and then we're feeding another large ring through our small rings. So if you guys pop me on pause and then go ahead and make up your units. Once you're happy with the number you've got, remember you're going to need at minimum 2 of these to start the weave. Then meet me back here and I will show you what the next step is going to be. Okay, so I've got a handful of my units pre-made, and I'm going to take 2 of these units now. I'm going to fold them out so that we've got 1 big, 2 small, 1 big. I'm going to hold that in my hand this way, and then taking up a second unit, I'm going to sit it so that the small rings here in the middle sit inside this large ring here of our first unit. So that just sits inside like that. Okay, and then holding that into place, we want to flip over the remaining large ring of our first unit so that it goes all the way. Let me just put my pliers down, so that it goes all the way over and encases the small rings of our second unit. Okay, so that it looks something like this. And then holding that in place, you're going to want to pick up an opened small ring. And we're going to feed that small ring through the two large rings of our first unit, the ones that are folded around our second unit. We're going to feed it through there so that we've got another set of rings coming out this side like we do over here. And this will lock our unit into place. Now it's not difficult, it's just a little fiddly and a little hard to do while keeping my thumbs out of the way, but I will do my best to show you. So we just want to slip our next opened small ring into that space, close it up, and then take up a second small ring and feed it through the same path. Okay, so through both of those large rings. And your work should look like this at the moment. We then want to take up a large ring, open that large ring up, and feed it through one pair of the small rings from our first unit. Doesn't matter which one, just through one pair. Close that up. So your work should look like this. We then want to take a second large ring and feed it through the same set of small rings. So at this stage you've got one completed unit and you've got a pair of large rings hanging off the edge. So what we want to do with these large rings is, again, we want to flip them open. So we've got one sitting flat there and one up the top. Take up another of our prepared units. Sit it so that the small ring sits inside that large ring that we've left lying flat. And then we want to very carefully, and this is very hard to do while keeping my fingers out of the way, so bear with me. We want to very carefully flip that large ring down so that it encompasses the small rings in our new piece, and holding that into place, take up an open small ring and lock it all down by going through this space you can see just here. Okay, so this goes through both of the large rings that we placed previously, and we're going to put our small ring into there and close it up to lock it all down. So you can see we're just going through and picking up those two large rings. Okay, and close it up. And once we've placed one, we want to place a second large ring. Okay, and you've got two sections of Celtic Wings right now. So we just want to keep doing that down the length of our piece. So again, take up a new large ring, feed it through the small rings that you just added, close it up, and add a second ring through the same path. So your work should look like this. Once you've got those new set of large rings added, we want to flip one up so we expose just one there, and we want to put a new prepared unit, again so that the small rings in the middle sit inside that large ring that we've got on the bottom, and we carefully flip down the second large ring of our work. And then we want to hold that in place because we want to place some more small rings down through those 2 large rings to lock our unit in. Okay, so opening up a small ring, going through those 2 large rings that we added. So these are the rings that we added to our central piece, not the rings that form the unit that we made up at the beginning. Just through those 2 rings, close it up and finish off with a second ring. And that's it, guys. That's pretty much it. It's not particularly difficult. You just keep working your way down your piece until you reach the length that you need. So I'm just going to add 2 more rings here. So these 2 large rings, we add those to the small locking rings that we just placed. Now I don't have any more units made up, so I'm going to quickly make up another unit. This weave is very easy to just continue making as you go along. You don't have to have everything prepped in advance. But if you like to prep all these units in advance, make your workflow a little bit smoother for you, then that's perfectly fine. Do whatever it is that suits you best. Okay, so I've got myself another unit made up. I'm going to pick up my work. I'm going to flip this top ring back so I expose just the 1 large ring there in our work. I'm going to place one of my units so that the small ring sits inside the large rings, or the pair of small rings sit inside the large rings. And while keeping that in place, I'm going to flip down the remaining large ring in our work. And holding it there, I'm going to take up another small ring, and I'm going to lock it all in place by just picking up those 2 large rings that we folded around our prepared unit. Lock that one down and add a second. Okay, and that's it, guys. That's how you make the Celtic Wings weave. All right, my lovelies, well, that is it. That is the video tutorial for you today. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it helpful. If you did find it helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up here on YouTube. Share the video if you like. If you haven't been a subscriber of our channel, it'd be fabulous if you could do that for us. Big thanks for those who have been subscribers for some time now. Leave any questions or comments you may have down below and I'll do my best to get back to you. And last but not least, guys, don't forget to give our shop link up here in the corner a little bit of love and affection. It's where we sell the bits and bobs and you know what, so you're going to need to whip up this weave and many others. All right, guys, thanks once again for popping in and spending some time with me. It's great to see you. Keep safe, keep well, and we will catch up again sometime in the very near future. Bye. Mwah.